Hi, in this scene we will see a special case in which a crime considered serious in the country of origin was committed. In many countries, there are crimes considered serious that in others are not, and in this particular case, something like that happened. Below, we will see the events that occurred within this crime and the participants in said legal act, as well as their country of origin, the country to which asylum is requested, and the final decision of the country. Okay, in the events, on April 30 of 2022, a young North Korean who is a journalism graduate student published an article giving his opinion and talking about the government. A North Korean citizen saw this article and notified the authorities, since in North Korea it is illegal to make a public opinion without the prior permission of the authorities. The person who committed the illegal act began to be threatened and realized that he was being sought by the country's police because Article 53 of the North Korean political constitution calls for freedom of the press, but even with a correspondent for the Associated Press integrated by a North Korean staff. The internet in North Korea is available only to the political elite, but some schools have an access to a tightly controlled internet called Kwangmyong. If North Korea allowed free expression, there will not be people doing these kind of things.
Hi, my name is Michelle and I'm going to continue. 4. As soon as the accused receives the tears, he leaves the country, which is considered illegal because the terrorists named the insinuating that they would torture and imprison him. 5. The accused arrives applying for political asylum in the country of Germany. 6. After the individual escapes the country, his extradition is requested to betray the country of origin. And now I'm talking about political asylum, which is country Germany. Germany's constitution assures the political persecuted of the right to asylum in the Art 16a. The Grundgesetz constitutional law establishes the passive right of asylum, which forms the basic for the Asylberechtigung right of asylum allows persecuted while a state have the right to protection in Germany. The treatment of refugees and asylum seekers always been an EU issue as well. It was originally regulated by the two convention according to the product defining those seeking protection must appeal for asylum in the country through they enter the EU.
Hello, my name is Jessica Smith Funes Lopez, and I'm going to explain the procedure for refugees in Germany. The first step is register at the new arrival service to continue to register as an asylum seeker with the Regional Office for Refugee Affairs in Munich, Germany. Now, we are to talk about what is asked at the Office for Foreign Engineers or the police. In the step A are 24 questions about family, origin, and escape path. Here it is especially about your identity, your family, and the path of travel. There are short questions. Answer directly. General, you will ask it again in case of contradictions or divergences. In the step B are the penultimate question. Reasons for flight. It is the most important questions of all. It's about his personal reasons for running away. Relate for yourself as clearly and convincingly as possible all the reasons and evidence that forces you to quit. This history is the basis for the BMF to recognize him or not as a refugee. And this step B is mentioned in the Article 16 of the Constitution in Germany. In the step C is the last questions. Impediments to return. This is about you can't return to your home country. Relate the reasons for yourself of your individual afflictions. The ground are the basis for BMF to suspend your possible deportation. Some questions in these 24 questions are who are you? What country does he come or she come from? How did he come? Who chasing him or her? How many times? How was he or she persecuted? When? And more questions. Now we are to talk about what does he or she want to know. The interview has to be convincing that what you say is true before he or she makes a decision. For this reason, he will or she will examine your statement carefully. If you can if you can present objective evidence, like many others asylum seekers, the interview will have to trust your statements. They have to believe you personally, because the interview has to justify and base his decision before he relate during the interview everything that refers to your need for protection as a refugee. Now, we are to talk about the proof of arrival. Will be used on the first day, which will serve as your identification document and is prerequisite for entitlement benefits, like your name, your place of birth, nationality, and photo will appear on the proof of arrival. Your fingertips will be taken, fingerprints. On the second day, a medical checkup will take place and will receive your first benefits. Bring with your without fail all your identification documents and personal documents like passport, identify, or driving license. At the end of registration, you will be taken to a reception center, which will serve you as your accommodation and where you will be provided with everything you need. But to live on, you will receive social benefits from the Federal Republic of Germany. You should know the following. You apply for asylum and are still the asylum procedure. During this time, he or she receives a material benefit, like clothing and food, and a cash sum of 40 per month. Asylum seekers substance lab. Naturally, basic medical care is also yours. You can go to the doctor and get treated. Now, where to live? Living and working for refugees. The first service is the Office for Housing and Migration, and is located in Munich. You have been recognized as a refugee. The Office for Housing and Migration helps you find accommodation if you want to continue living in Munich, but have to leave the first reception establishment. But as a recognized refugee, you can choose your domicile in the whole of Germany. Your blue passport must be requested at the Office for Foreigners in your place of residence. In this office, there are also numerous promotion possibilities for integration. And the second service is the ARCH. The ARCH belongs to the Federal Labor Agency and can help you after your recognition as a refugee if you want to learn German, look for a job, or acquire a qualification. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, in the analysis, the first thing that we have is the accused had no purpose of assaulting anyone, least of all his authority. The second, reviewing the article, we realized that the defendant presents very several words and with the aim of giving a public opinion to the outside. 3. The tweets present show us the lack of humanity that exists in North Korea. 4. The lack of human rights in North Korea is quite serious, so we cannot allow the extradition of the accused. If North Korea's laws change, society could be better and happier.
Final decision. We as a country decide to grant political asylum, which is requisite through diplomatic and conveniently territorial means, in which his situation is resolved since his life, freedom, and the security are in danger in his native country and his throne was banished from his birth.